So this is my class on fixing your metabolism because you deserve to feel amazing. It is everyone's birthright to have health. It is, we all deserve to have ultimate health. And you need to have optimal health because that allows you to show up for those you love, to shine your unique light in the world and make the difference that only you can make. We're all here for a reason, as you I'm sure believe, and when we're in our best health, we can live out our own personal missions in the world. So it is my life's purpose to help people to live long, live well, and then I like to say also die fast. Because the idea of spending the last 10 years of your life slowly dying in a nursing facility does not sound pleasant to me. And I would rather have people living long and well and independently and having a very short death span. So let's talk about how. So a little bit about me. So I'm a national board certified functional medicine wellness coach. I got my certification through the Institute of Functional Medicine. And I'm also a registered clinical exercise physiologist. I use that degree in my cardiac rehab career. I'm a certified heart math practitioner. Don't have too much time to go into what heart math is, but you can Google it. And I'm an avid trail runner and a person with previous poor metabolic health. And that was even with all of my trail running. And so I'll explain, why it's possible to be athletic, but still not have the best metabolic health. So have you heard of functional medicine, James?
Not really. No, ma'am.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things is to raise awareness about what functional medicine is. So functional medicine is, oh, we've got someone in the room now. So functional medicine is the future of healthcare. Functional medicine is gaining in awareness, and it is eventually going to be the way that we all practice healthcare. And this is yes, it's optimal. It's optimist thinking, but I do believe that more people are going to learn what it is and why it's so important. So functional medicine is an approach to healthcare where we dive down in to these root cause factors for what produce health or what produce disease. So in functional medicine, we're looking at your sleep. We're looking at how well your body is detoxing, as well as the toxins that you're exposing yourself to, or that are in your environment. We're looking at your diet. We're looking at how many antioxidants you're eating, and how many oxidative things and oxidative environmental factors around you, your stress management, looking at systemic inflammation, which means immune system dysregulation. We're looking at your digestion, your environment, your movement, people who are dealing with trauma and that haven't done the work to truly process and release that trauma. And when we address all of these things down here in the roots, what that allows is for a nice healthy tree, which means, as sort of the metaphor, which means that your health, you have high energy, you can maintain a healthy weight, healthy blood sugars, normal hormone balance, you can feel strong and lean and have a healthy liver and detox system, have mental focus, clarity, normal digestion and bowel movements, and low risk for cancer. On the other side of this is functional medicine for chronic health. Or standard medicine for chronic health. So standard medicine has its positives, right? I mean, if you're in a car accident and you need emergency surgery, we absolutely need standard medicine. We need Western medicine. We need their urgent cares, and we need their surgeries, and we need, so many things that they provide. But what standard Western medicine does not do well is chronic disease management or maintaining chronic health, because what standard medicine does is they treat symptoms. They treat with medication. They oftentimes do surgeries that may not be necessary. They treat with a lot of antibiotics, which affect our microbiome and destroy a lot of the really important bugs that live in our gut. They treat digestive issues with acid blockers, and in many cases, they're not producing too much acid. They actually have too little acid, and that's what's actually creating their symptoms. And then we get put on these acid blocking medications, which makes our digestion even more compromised, makes us unable to absorb the important nutrients in our food, and makes us even sicker. They ignore that we've had past trauma. They, assume that if the trauma is over, then it's no longer affecting our health, which we know that is not the case. And it's often a silo approach to healthcare where specialists are all in their own little silos, not understanding how the body, all the systems are interrelated. So what I like to say is in a standard or Western medicine model for chronic disease, it's like they're taking the leaves that have fallen off the tree and trying to glue them back onto the branches instead of addressing everything down here at the root level. Okay, so what does true health really mean? Is it just the absence of disease? And what is necessary to have true lasting health, to truly thrive? So no, I don't believe that true health is just the absence of disease. I think true health means that we feel amazing and that we have health in all of these different aspects of life, so that we have metabolic health, nervous system health, mental health, social health, vocational health, financial health, and spiritual health. Of course, I don't have time in a 45-minute masterclass to address all of these. So today we're going to talk about metabolic health. So just a little bit of humor to weave into the talk. Of course, we're not all trying to look like this guy, but yes, six-pack abs are made in the kitchen. We do actually we can achieve excellent body composition through diet, even if you aren't able to exercise. Diet is really what helps us to maintain, to develop a lean body composition. Many people exercise and lift weights, but they don't have the right diet. And though they may have six-pack abs, you can't see them. So we really do need to address our diet and address what we're eating and fix our health in the kitchen. So what is metabolic health? Key concepts and definitions. So it is a state of optimal functioning of your body's metabolism, including blood sugar regulation, energy production, your lipids or your blood fats, your blood pressure, and your waist circumference or body composition. So we're looking at your blood glucose. We're looking at how sensitive are you to the insulin that your body's producing, or on the contrary, how insulin resistant are you? We're looking at your mitochondrial function, the powerhouses in every cell. We're looking at your cholesterol and triglyceride levels, blood pressure, and body composition. So some true or false. These are some, I think, a lot of things that people presume to be true or not true. And so I just think it's interesting to go through. So a lot of people think if you're thin, you're metabolically healthy. So, what do you think? Have you always felt like if you see a thin person that you assume they're healthy? It's actually false. It's false. There are a lot of thin people walking around that we refer to as skinny fat. And they're thin by appearance, but they actually have a lot of body fat inside. And our body fat is metabolically active. It actually it contributes to inflammation in the body. So just being thin does not mean you're healthy. You need to eat frequent small meals to maintain high metabolism. What do you guys think? This was something that I would tell when I was first out of my undergrad program at Oregon State. This is the kind of stuff I was learning, and I would tell my cardiac rehab patients and anyone I worked with, oh yeah, you got to eat every 2 hours. That stokes the fire, keeps the metabolism going strong. Wrong. Wrong again. It's not true. We actually need to give our body breaks from food. Our body needs to have periods of time with no food coming in so that the digestive system actually has a chance to reset and repair. We are not meant to eat round the clock. And the only reason that we do is because of all of the food preservation and processed foods that we now have in our pantries. If you think about our ancestors, they were eating when someone came home from the hunt with some meat. They were eating when, people came back from hunting and gathering for berries and tubers. We did not have refrigerators and pantries with Doritos and cheese whiz and dips. We're not meant to eat that much and eat that frequently. Number 3, you can improve metabolic health even if you can't exercise. What do you guys think? True or false? Answer is true. Answer is true. So yes, I will show you an example of a client who could not exercise. She had some things going on in her life and she could not exercise, and she lost 80 pounds and felt amazing. People who, didn't do any training but lost 40, 50 pounds, and they could go out and hike and do all kinds of things they couldn't do before. Number four, fruit has too much sugar and should not be consumed if trying to lose weight or reduce blood sugar. True or false? That is false. Fruit is actually very, very good for you. There are fruits that are higher in sugar and have a higher glycemic index. So we want to be careful when we're consuming too much of those fruits like melons and grapes. Those tend to have a lot of sugar, but they should not be eliminated from the diet. I tell my clients, have about 4 ounces of fruit a couple times a day with your meal because there are some really great antioxidants and we need a lot of plant foods in our diet. Sleep is just as important as exercise. True or false? This is true. And I
Yeah.
used to, as an exercise physiologist, I used to not think this. I used to think, you could sacrifice sleep to get exercise and that would be good for you. And that on occasion is okay. If on occasion you have to sacrifice an hour of sleep to get your workout in, that's okay, but that should not be your standard everyday process. You should not be on a regular basis sacrificing sleep. It will bite you in the butt at some point. Anyone overweight is not metabolically healthy. This is false. This is kind of the opposite of the skinny one. A lot of people are metabolically healthy even if they're carrying some extra weight. Is it better to not have extra fat weight on the body? Sure. Because if we have extra fat weight on the body, again, that is metabolically active tissue and that contributes to inflammation and disease. So we don't want to have the extra fat, but you can have a little extra fat on you and still have a high, there's a lot of ultra trail runners out there that are carrying extra fat weight and they are still fit. They still have good lab values. So yeah, you can be a little overweight and still have metabolic health. The keto diet is the best way to improve metabolism. Wrong. The keto diet can be an effective short-term strategy to lose weight. It is not meant to be a long-term lifestyle, and it will end up impairing your metabolism and making you very good at burning fat, but not very good at burning carbohydrates. And so people go on the keto diet and they lose a bunch of weight, but then as soon as they start to eat even just, like carrots or squash or like really healthy vegetables, those vegetables have enough carb that their body doesn't know what to do with it anymore, and they're no longer metabolically flexible. So we really don't want to go to a diet that's basically just two macronutrients, just fat and protein for long. That can be a short-term strategy, but should not be a long-term lifestyle. If you're overweight and you're not exercising, if you're overweight, you are not exercising hard or long enough. True or false? False.
False.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I will share examples with you of people who were exercising like fiends and they could not get their weight off. In fact, they were exercising too much. And I've seen this a number of times. People have come to me saying, I'm doing everything. I'm working out. I can't think of anything else I could do to lose weight, but it's not coming off. And what was happening is they were actually over exercising and stressing their body out so that their body was holding on to fat. So here's an example of clients that were able to lose a significant amount of weight without any exercise at all. Both Melissa and Orestes had a lot going on in their lives. They were feeling very stressed with different work and personal demands, but they knew they needed to do something to get the weight off. They were both feeling terrible, and really their doctors were concerned about their health and their labs. Together, they lost over 120 pounds. Melissa lost over 80 pounds, and she was saying she could get through the airport, having to rush from one end of a gate to the other to catch a flight. And she's like, I felt great. Like I wasn't huffing and puffing. I can get up my steep driveway without huffing and puffing. And she did her whole program without any exercise. So pretty impressive. So understanding metabolic flexibility, and this is really what we're trying to establish, is metabolic flexibility and resilience. It's not about just being able to burn fat or just being able to burn carbs. We have to be able to burn everything well. So it's the ability of the body to switch between burning carbohydrates and fats for energy depending on what's available. So it helps maintain our energy levels. It supports our weight management. It reduces the risk of metabolic disorders like diabetes and heart disease. Metabolic flexibility means you rarely feel hangry. What does it feel like? Also, other things that metabolic health feels like. So if you feel like you have unlimited energy. You rarely have food cravings. You have a good, stable mood. You get restful sleep. You feel like you have good focus and clarity throughout the day. Your skin glows. You don't feel like you've got an excessive amount of wrinkles for your age. You have a healthy libido. You rarely feel hangry. Your weight is at a healthy level. You rarely get sick and you have rare digestive issues. If that's the case, you probably have fantastic metabolic health. That's awesome. What does metabolic health not feel like? For those of you who are in my generation or a little older, you might or younger, I guess, you might remember Chris Farley's character on Saturday Night Live. Um, and the sad reality is that, many people who are overweight, they do feel like they're starving because they have their metabolic health, their status is that they are only able to burn sugar because they haven't given themselves the right diet approach and lifestyle to teach their metabolism how to burn the stored fat. So they literally feel like they're starving, even though they have the energy on their body to sustain them for months. I mean, someone at his size could probably go months without eating and be able to burn the stored energy stored on the body, but the body doesn't know how to get to it. And that is what people struggle with. And it's a real struggle. And that's what I want to help people overcome. So symptoms of poor metabolic health. This is just really impacting the quality of life of so many people. People are tired. They have cravings, especially for sugar and carbs. Their focus, their concentration is poor. They get sick all the time. They're overweight. Their mood swings all the time. They have low or unstable energy levels. They feel depressed. They may see it in their skin sagging and not having a nice, healthy glow. They may actually have skin issues and rashes, eczema, psoriasis. They often have digestive issues that can include bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, and they feel frequently burned out. No way to live. Okay, so let's talk about, what's impacting all of this. So a lot of what we're looking at and a lot of the culprit is the processed foods. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a Debbie Downer, but bread is a processed food. So yes, that you can, I've definitely been known to be the Debbie Downer in the room, and that's okay. But it's important for people to know what impacts our health. So processed foods affect every single aspect of our health. Processed foods affect our liver, our skin, our brain, our gut, our microbiome, our blood sugar balance, and our adrenals. So you can kind of just take a look at the slide and see, why is that? But processed foods, one of the things that happens is people get dopamine dependent on processed foods. So one of the reasons why it's so hard, people are like, yeah, I get it. I know they're not good for me. I know I should eat more whole foods, but oh my God, I'm just like nothing tastes as good. They are addicted. There are such things as gluteomorphs, which is the morphine effect of wheat. Of course, sugar hits our dopamine centers in our brain and lights our brain up. And we're getting so inundated with these hyper palatable foods that natural foods don't taste as good. People don't get the same pleasure from an apple that they used to because they've been eating pure sugar. And it's not, so an apple's not doing the same thing. It's just kind of like that dosing effect, like the same thing that happens with drugs. You need stronger and stronger drugs to get that, to get that feeling of a high. So we've got to rein this in. And it's hard to get started, but once people get used to eating whole foods, their taste buds come alive and they start to realize like a cucumber tastes sweet again. I'm getting so much satisfaction from my food again. So it's exciting because this is all stuff that we can change. So dietary approaches to achieve metabolic health. So everyone's heard of the Mediterranean diet. It's been around forever. We used to promote it in cardiac rehab. So I call it a Mediterranean-ish diet because in the Mediterranean diet, they definitely put, in the standard definition of it, they talk about a lot of whole grains. And as soon as you give someone free rein for whole grains, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to have a diet that's based on whole grains. They're going to have some kind of grain for breakfast. Maybe it's some kind of like shredded wheat. The people think shredded wheat is a really healthy breakfast. They think, oh, it's a whole grain. Actually what happens to a bowl of shredded wheat when it hits your body? Turns into sugar. It's just like eating a bowl of sugar. It is terrible. It is not it's immediately going to spike your blood sugar. So if you're going to eat something like that, or like a big bowl of oatmeal, same thing, it just immediately turns to sugar. We used to test our diabetic patients' blood sugar when they would come into cardiac rehab. They have a bowl of oatmeal, their sugar would be 325. They have a couple of eggs with some vegetables and avocado, their blood sugar is like 150. So cereal, toast, English muffins, bagels, all of these things are basically just starchy carbs that are going to just spike your blood sugar. So when Mediterranean diet says eat whole grains, it really is meant to just be a small part of what you have throughout the day. It should not be the basis of what we eat. So I say Mediterranean-ish. So focus is on seafood, grass-fed and pastured meats, veggies, fruits, nuts, seeds, a little bit of dairy here and there. I'm a big fan of Greek yogurt with nuts and berries for breakfast for myself. So think plant fiber, not starchy carbs. So a low starchy carb diet means that you're reducing those carbs. So think bread, pasta, tortillas, English muffins, crackers, those kinds of things. You're reducing those things to 3 to 5 times per week. And that's going to help improve your insulin sensitivity and help your body to burn more fat. So if you're trying to lose weight, this is the approach to take. Fat in the diet does not mean fat on the body. People need to understand that. It's been a real strong misconception. And I used to believe it way back in the day. I was getting all the low fat, non-fat, just crap food from the grocery store thinking that it was going to help me maintain my weight. And it wasn't helping me a single bit. It was full of sugar. Intermittent fasting, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but that also enhances metabolic flexibility and turns you into a fat burner, which is we want to be equally good at burning fats as we are at burning carbohydrates. So we really want to have that flexible metabolism. Eliminate food sensitivities. How do you know if you're sensitive to something? Well, this is where really having good, strong body awareness is really important. It's what I teach in my program to all of my clients, because everyone that does my program, they do a 6-week structured food plan that I give them. And when they finish the structured food plan, then they start reintroducing foods. And that's where I teach. You have to really be in your body and know, because you're going to eat something. And if you start to feel some bloating or some gas, or you're noticing that your bowel movements aren't as healthy and you're not eliminating well or whatever, you need to be thinking about, what did I eat? Because that's how you know. Skin itching. If you sometimes on occasion your skin will be really itchy. What did I eat? What did I eat just recently that I hadn't been eating for a little while? So really paying attention, because I'll tell you this, you should be able to eat a meal and you should not be belching or farting or having bloating or having diarrhea or constipation. None of those things are normal. Those are not just typical things that happen to the body when we eat. They mean that you have eaten something that your body is not processing well. And if that's happening, it's not just the digestive unpleasantness, it's creating inflammation in your body. And that inflammation is driving disease. So we really need to understand how our bodies individually respond to different foods. I learned that I can't do garbanzo beans. I love garbanzo beans, but they don't love me back, so I stopped eating hummus unless I make it myself out of white beans. You need to eat for your own DNA. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, your body is individual compared to all the other bodies around you. So these are some pictures that were taken by my clients. So I love sharing these because I just like people to see in the program that I run, this is the kind of food people are eating. Beautiful, healthy, delicious, colorful, flavorful, texture, amazing works of nutritional art. So here's one of the case studies. So I love sharing this gal's story because she was a regular exerciser. She was a swim coach. She was a competitive swimmer prior to being a coach, and a self-reported sort of healthy eater. So she was really frustrated that she wanted to have this lean body that she always had, but she started getting into her 50s, late 40s and 50s, and she started just getting this little bit of belly, and like, where did this roll on my back come from? Like, what is happening to my body? I'm not changing anything. I'm doing the same thing. I'm swimming, I'm lifting weights, I'm eating healthy. Why am I getting thicker around the middle? Why am I getting bigger boobs when I'm in my early I'm about 60? Like, this doesn't make any sense. She was having a lot of hormonal issues And the diet that she was feeding herself was not working for her stage of life. And so we have to know where we're at in our stage of life and how do we take care of our body for that stage of life. So when she did my program, she lost 20 pounds. She lost the rolls on her back that were really bothering her. She lost weight in her belly. She improved her blood sugar. She also had some levels on her labs that put her in the almost pre-diabetic range. She improved her gut and digestive health. She learned how to do meal prepping and planning so that she could have these beautiful meals. She reset her metabolism. She went from 2 plant foods per day. She and her husband would have one vegetable at lunch and one vegetable at dinner. And she went to changing that to having at least 10 different plant foods per day, which really helped improve her health and her microbiome. So some comments. So a lot of people come to me for stubborn weight gain, and they're usually shocked by how quickly it actually comes off. And then the less bloating, feeling more comfortable in their skin, and just knowing that working with me, you're able to get, access me regularly. I have someone that has been texting me all morning because he's on vacation in Hawaii right now. And he's like, I gained 3 pounds, help, what did I do? And so I've been kind of talking him off the ledge and helping him with making choices on vacation. So intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is just an umbrella term for shortening your feeding window. So it doesn't really mean like true fasting, but there are different types of extended fasting that you can also play with. So basically, it's just I'm gonna shorten the window of time in my day that I take in food. You can also do some different types of extended fasting, like some people do OMAD, 1 meal a day. Some people will do like 1 day a week where they just do a full day of fasting and don't eat anything. There's religious fasting where people don't, they don't fast until a certain time of the day. All different ways to approach it, but really fasting is ancestral. We evolved fasting. We had the guys that went out for the hunt. We had the women that went out for hunting and for gathering. And they often went out to do that in a fasted state. They might not have had anything to eat that day, and they were out, doing fairly exertional things. Hunting is not an easy task. You might have to walk for miles gathering berries and tubers, and they were doing that in a fasted state. And people are so afraid of being hungry. We've gotten to this very cushy place in time where, we feel like, oh, if I feel the sensation of hunger, I need to like eat something now. Like I don't ever want to feel hungry, but we are designed to feel hungry. Somewhere along the line, experts decided that we should eat 3 meals a day and have a snack in between our meals and have something every 2 hours to maintain metabolism. Worst advice ever. We have only gotten more sick and more digestive issues. So what we really need to do is eat less to live longer. So benefits of fasting are numerous. It does help with weight loss and improving our insulin sensitivity, reducing our blood sugar, reducing our risk for diabetes. Allows our digestive organs to rest and repair. I like to use the analogy of if you're going to repair a highway, you can't repair that highway if you've got cars constantly driving over it. You've got to take the cars off the road so that you can do the work to repair. And so our digestive system is the same way. It needs breaks, it needs gaps where you're not constantly eating. Fasting is wonderful for mental clarity, cognitive function, learning, memory, and alertness. When I do a longer fast, I'm amazed. I am just like a machine. I'm so productive. I'm getting stuff done. I just feel like I've got like superwoman mental power. Fasting improves sleep. Whoops, what's going on with my screen? It improves our endurance. It allows our body to become more of a fat burning machine, which is what a lot of people are looking for. It reduces the visceral fat in our body. It reduces our cardiovascular risk. It allows for autophagy, which is our cells process for cleaning up, repairing themselves, and for planned death of cells that are no longer viable. So it's kind of a cancer prevention. So autophagy allows our body to sense when cells are really dysfunctional and can't be cleaned up. And so it kills those cells off and reduces cancer risk. We have stem cell production, which is what we want for longevity, improved gut health, so many things that we can achieve. We increased human growth hormone and the ability for our body to actually create muscle. So how do you fast? It's basically, a lot of people will just say, okay, I'm going to have 2 meals a day instead of 3. So I'll skip breakfast. It's the easiest one to skip because people generally want to have dinner with their families. It's kind of the more social time and the catching up on the day. So people a lot of times will say, oh, I'll skip breakfast or I'll delay breakfast. But really, fasting has a very strong mental component. Mindset is super key. So we have to be asking ourselves, if you're feeling like you want to eat, what am I really feeling? Is it that I'm bored and I just want entertainment? A lot of us use food for entertainment. I will raise my hand to that, and I have to catch myself all the time. Am I feeling lonely or sad? Am I feeling stressed or tired? These are all reasons that people will reach for food when they're really not physically hungry. The other thing is, can we allow that physical hunger? Can we just say, you know what? I evolved from, ancestors that would spend all day being hungry, and actually what really happens is you push through it a little bit and the hunger goes away. I mean, when I've done 3-day fasts, I'm on, the halfway through the second day and there's no hunger, literally no hunger. I feel great. So sometimes you just have to kind of push through it. If you're shaky and dizzy and lightheaded and feel like you're going to pass out, you need to eat. Don't push through that. But if it's just the sensation of hunger and you kind of feel that growling and, it might just be a slight feeling of nausea. Sometimes you push through, drink some water, electrolytes, goes away. Fill in the blank, whatever it is that you're craving. The chocolate will still be there tomorrow. The cheese will still be there tomorrow. Whatever it is that I think I want to eat right now, it's going to still be there tomorrow. Is this a desire thing or is this true hunger? And sometimes we have to tease that apart. Sometimes we just desire the cookie, but we're not really hungry. Can I just make it 15 more minutes? Can I find something to focus on, a project, a hobby? We have to change our belief systems. We have to say, I'm going to make this really delicious meal and I know that I'm going to fill up on this healthy whole food and I'm not going to need to have a snack afterward. I'm going to have my coffee and I know that I can enjoy it without having the pastry. The sound of my stomach growling is the sound of my body detoxing, the cells repairing. Food does not define my happiness. This is key, people. We use food for so many reasons that are not just physical nourishment. And we have to separate that out. And yes, we get to enjoy food. Yes, we have celebrations, then we can have beautiful spreads of food that people contribute to the celebration. That's fine. But don't confuse that with what makes you happy. Don't define your happiness by what you get to eat, because if that's how you define your happiness, then you're going to have a real struggle ahead of you if you're trying to improve your health or lose weight. All right, warning, unpopular opinion and recommendation coming. So don't say I didn't warn you. I do recommend people try to eliminate gluten, even if it's just for a week, to see what you feel or what you don't feel. So gluten, and there's a lot of different reasons and theories about why this is. Some people will say it's just a problem in the US. It's the way that we grow and treat and harvest and process our wheat. You go to Europe, they do it differently. They don't spray it with glyphosate. They don't, there's different harvesting practices. I cannot, I'm not the expert on this. I can't answer that question. However, I can say that at least 90% of the people that I've worked with in the last 4 years see improvements to their health when they take out gluten. And sometimes what we need to do is we need to take it out for long enough that our gut heals, and then we can have it on occasion. It's like the whole goal here is that we're building resilience in our bodies. And so with that resilience, then we can have things on occasion that were creating problems for us in the past, but we can't have them all the time. So we heal the body and then we say, okay, instead of having toast every day for breakfast, I'm going to have things that don't include wheat most of the days. And maybe on the weekends, I have some sourdough toast with my breakfast. Gluten disrupts the gut wall. It creates hyperpermeability, leaky gut, which means that the environment that is supposed to be kept outside of our body and go right through our gut and into the toilet, things come through the gut wall and they directly interact with our immune system. And our immune system says, what is this stuff that's coming through the gut wall? We don't recognize it. It shouldn't be here. So we're going to go on attack mode. And so your immune system is kind of on this like hypervigilant attack mode, which is creating this systemic inflammation. Okay, so we want our immune system to be able to enact an inflammatory response to certain things. Like if we cut ourselves or if we get stung or something, there's a reason for inflammation, but we don't want inflammation happening every day, all day because of the food that we're eating. That's the kind of inflammation that creates heart disease. So gluten is in wheat, barley, and rye. It is in beer, unless you specifically ask for a gluten-free beer. It's in soy sauce. It's hidden. I mean, these things are hidden in a lot of things. Soy sauce, sometimes Worcestershire sauce, lots of different things. It can even be in skincare. So there's disagreements about, is it truly the gluten or is it other things that come along with things that have gluten in them? Some people suggest that it is the glyphosate that's sprayed on the wheat crops, the differences in how grains are grown, and also how much grain we consume. When wheat was first being propagated, we weren't eating it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a day like people do today. People are eating, toast for breakfast. They're having wheat crackers for a snack. They're having sandwiches for lunch. They're having more wheat crackers for a second snack. Then they're having pasta for dinner. That is a lot of wheat. We were never meant to eat that much wheat. So maybe we've just gotten to where we're eating too much of it. The other thing that I really encourage my clients to do to improve their metabolic health is really watch those industrialized seed oils. These have been fed to us in many of our processed foods. These are junk oils. Many of these oils, cottonseed oil, this is a junk oil. They started using cottonseed oil in food because they couldn't figure out what to do with it after extracting the cotton for textiles and so forth. So they're, oh well, let's just put this oil in the food. Like that's a good thing to do with this waste oil. So it's literally garbage oil. All of these oils are easily oxidized. They're inflammatory oils. They oftentimes have metal toxicity. They're treated with chemicals and high heat, which makes them even more dangerous. They're often in plastic bottles, which is we're getting phthalates and various things from the plastic bottles. So we really want to get rid of these 6 oils. And people are like, oh, I'm good. I just use olive oil and butter at home. Well, if you're ever buying salad dressing or chips or crackers or dips or really any processed food, read your labels because these oils are in 90% of every processed food. So you've got to read your oils. Try to avoid the deep fat fried foods at the restaurants. I know for some people it's like, French fries are your favorite food. Make them at home. Those oils that they're cooking in at restaurants, those are recycled. They're reheating and reheating and reheating, and those oils become so toxic. I will say I have seen so many improvements in my clients' health when they stop eating foods that have those oils in them. So the brands to look for. So, if you're looking for salad dressing, Primal Kitchen and Chosen Foods. Those are the top 2 brands that use avocado oil, olive oil, and coconut oil in their products. So here's the Chosen Foods label. Do I have Primal? Yeah, so there's Primal. You can see both of those products. If you're looking for crackers that you can enjoy, these Lundberg rice, these are literally just rice. That's all that's in them. These Mary's Gone crackers, they've got rice and various seeds. These Edmonds and Sons are also good. None of these have added oils. And then these Siete brand chips, they're made with avocado oil. So getting more protein is another part of metabolic health. So protein is really important for our body, for many of our body's processes. And many of us are not getting enough. And lack of protein is a really big reason for people feeling hungry throughout the day, because protein is the macronutrient that has the highest satiety factor. So, if you were to eat, a plate, you couldn't even probably finish a plate of chicken breasts. If you just put like 4 chicken breasts on a plate and said, here, go to town, you would probably get full and not be able to eat them all. But if you put this same amount of calories of like pasta or French fries or something like that, you'd probably be able to eat the equivalent amount of calories that those chicken breasts would have. And you'd be getting a lot more starch and fat. But protein it's the satiation factor is really huge. You need protein to create that satiety. Protein also has thermogenic effects. So when we eat protein, it actually increases our metabolism and we burn more calories just existing. So we needed at least 100 grams per day. The doctor that I work for suggests that you eat whatever your weight is, you eat that much or whatever your ideal weight is. So let's say your ideal weight is 150. Maybe you weigh 170 and you want to lose 20 pounds, but your ideal weight is 150. So you should be getting 150 grams of protein. So that's the doctor that I work for makes that recommendation. I tell people try to get at least 100 because many people are not even getting close to 100. Just to give you an example, if you're eating a 6-ounce piece of meat or fish, and that's like the size of your hand, then you're going to get 45 to 50 grams of protein in that. 2 eggs has about 16 grams. For a lot of people, getting a protein powder can fill in the gaps. So we recommend a paleo protein powder. A lot of protein powders are garbage. You have to really be careful. A lot of them are pea protein, and pea protein is like, it can create digestive issues. People can have sensitivities to it, and then you're not absorbing that protein as well as paleo. And pea protein doesn't have all of the amino acids. You're not getting all of your protein needs from peas. They just don't have all the amino acids that we need for all of the for the building blocks of protein. So if you wanted to get some protein powder, you could order from my dispensary through this company called Designs for Health that make a really, really great quality product. Personalized nutrition. So we talked about, knowing your body, being aware of your body, being in your body. We really need to recognize that we are all in our own ecosystem. Each of our bodies is its own ecosystem. So when people try to have this like one size fits all approach, like when people say, oh, everybody should be vegan, what are you going to tell an Inuit in Alaska? What are they going to eat if they don't eat whale meat and whale blubber? Like that's what they eat. You can't say everyone should be vegan. I mean, we need to look at where are our ancestors from? Where have we evolved from? What is my body designed to eat? What is my DNA? How am I created DNA wise for what I need to do diet wise, exercise wise? We're all different. We need to recognize and appreciate that. But we do want to focus on nutrient dense, whole, unprocessed foods. We really want to be getting that plant fiber. Think plant fiber, lots of variety in our plant foods. We want to be creating meals that have protein, fat, and the fibers from plant food. So our carbohydrates should be coming in the form of bell peppers and broccoli and tomatoes and squash and all these beautiful plant foods. There are some convenience hacks. I have created for my community a video on how to shop at Trader Joe's. So if you have a Trader Joe's in your community, because there are some great things available at various stores that pass all the tests. They don't have the unhealthy oils. They don't have sugar in them. They're great. They're pre-made or semi-pre-made, but only good stuff in them. Because, let's be honest, not all of us have time to have every single meal of every single day be homemade without, any convenience items. So there are convenience items available that can still fit with a healthy diet. But food prepping is also really helpful. This refrigerator is a picture from one of my clients. So she's the one who was only getting 2 plant foods per day before she did my program. And after she did my program, she was like, she was just like totally drank the Kool-Aid. She was all in with the meal prepping and the variety. And so she's like, I'm not happy if I don't have, at least 5 different plant foods at every meal. And so she took a couple days a week and she would cut and prep all these different veggies and have them in her fridge and ready to go so she could do a little saute or stir fry or roasted vegetables or easily throw together a salad. I was so impressed with her doing that. Buddha bowls are a really great way. I actually just had a consult with a client yesterday who had a heart attack last year, and she's trying to optimize her diet and reduce her cardiac risk. And she was eating a lot of bread. She was insulin resistant, and so she needs to really pull back on her carbs. So Buddha bowls are a great way to do that. So Buddha bowls, you can modify them. So a traditional Buddha bowl oftentimes starts with some kind of grain and legume. I don't use those in mine typically. If I do, I'll just have maybe a quarter cup of beans, like black beans. But I generally don't use any grain. I'll do cauliflower rice or some kind of winter squash. And then you typically will have some kind of roasted vegetables. And this one, it looks like there's some roasted peppers and some broccoli. You'll typically have some fresh veggies like cabbage, carrots, cucumbers. There's lots of different Buddha bowl sauces that you can make on your own. And then you typically will add some kind of protein, some kind of meat or eggs. Sometimes it could be tofu. And you may have some greens in there. So they're really delicious, full of color and flavor and texture and really healthy nutrition. You can just go online or go onto Pinterest and type Buddha bowl recipes and find all kinds of ways to make Buddha bowls. Okay, so movement. Oh, I got to really hustle. I've got a client coming up. So important that you're moving your body on a regular basis. Exercise is important for improving your insulin response, reducing your blood sugar, improving your immune function, balancing your nervous system, improving your body's ability to burn fat. And it's really important for longevity and improved epigenetics. So we want to do things that just move our body more throughout the day. So I talk about NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, aerobic exercise. We got to have some kind of strength exercise because muscle is the currency of longevity. And it's really important that you remember that something is always better than nothing. So it doesn't have to be this, like, I don't have time for a whole hour, so I'm not going to do anything. If you have time for 5 minutes, do 5 minutes of air squats or walk around the block. Whatever you can do just to move your body, it all counts and it's all important. So nerd alert, here's me. I had my son take some pictures, but I have a chin-up bar. I'll do air squats. I'll do handstands while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. I just move my body and it takes, 30 seconds, a minute at a time, maybe a couple minutes. Sleep is also super, super, super important for metabolic health. So we really want to appreciate how important it is to give our bodies a chance for rest, stress management as well. I'm pushing the time here, so I don't have time to go into too much detail, but breath work and just slowing down your breathing is one really effective way to improve your feeling of stress in the moment. Sleep is really important for regulating your hunger hormones. When we don't sleep enough, our hunger hormones are just like through the roof. When we get plenty of sleep, our hunger hormones are going to be regulated. We're not going to feel as many cravings and hunger throughout the day. So it's a really important part of just being able to have a diet that serves us and our metabolism. To improve sleep, I recommend a cool, dark room, avoiding screens for a couple hours or using blue blocker glasses in the evening when the sun goes down. Avoid eating and drinking 2 to 3 hours before bed. Being careful of the kind of noise that you're exposed to at night, sometimes sleep-inducing music or just kind of a nice light white noise. Making sure that you're not having a lot of like try and put your phone on airplane mode. Don't have a lot of Wi-Fi around if you can avoid it. Sometimes your hormonal status really needs to be addressed, and I help people sometimes identify that they may need some progesterone or DHEA, and that's what's keeping them from sleeping well. So that's kind of a case-by-case basis. Caffeine should be really limited, especially after about 10 or noon. Alcohol is really not helpful for sleep, as much as people want to think that it can be. So anyway, I was going to share a few more testimonials, but I don't have time because I have a 1 o'clock coaching client. But I do want to just jump ahead here and let you know that if you were with me today and you're here till the end, I do have a 50% off of my what I call my trailhead package. So I have a coaching program. Well, it's a group coaching program where you get all of the materials, all of the secrets, the food plan, you get the weekly group coaching, the private Facebook group, recipes, all the things you need to have amazing results in your health and your weight. For 447 with the 50, I put 50%, it's actually $50, my bad. So it's 447 for all of that. And my normal price for my program is $22.97, and that includes one-on-one coaching. But you could get all of the other things for 447. So if you're interested in that, you can scan this code and use the code Trailhead50 to get the $50 off and get the program for 447. You can upgrade to the other packages if you want to that include more touch points with me, and you just pay the difference for those. So, so there's no penalty. You know, whatever you spend for the trailhead, you just apply that toward the upgrade if you wanted to have a package where there is a little bit more one-on-one support. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have a lot of time to have questions, but feel free. My email, I don't know if I have it on here. My email is Angie@heartwellnesscoaching.com. And you can also go to my website, heartwellnesscoaching.com. And there's a way to contact me there. There's also more information about my program on the heartwellnesscoaching.com website. So you can just look under services and it'll take you to that trailhead package. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. It's 1 o'clock. I'm sorry I have to get off and go coach a client, but thank you so much for being here, James. It was nice to meet you. Good luck on your future ventures, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, and same for everybody. So thanks a lot. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
Thank
bye-bye.
luck.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye.